So, hello Norwich fans. Yes, you've heard the news. Liam Manning has been sacked as Norwich head coach this evening after a 2-1 loss at home to Leicester, where, to be fair, it kind of summed up Liam Manning's tenure at Norwich City, if I'm perfectly honest. Norwich go 1-0 up for a Matthias Kvistgaard goal in a game that was just... It was very scrappy. It was two sides very clearly out of form. Norwich go ahead. Great finish from Kvistgaard. But then the issues arise. Defensive errors, Miko Topic and Kenny McLean just not knowing where the ball was led to a Leicester City equaliser. And then the substitute that followed, I believe it was Oscar Schwartau who left the field and Rory McConville entered the field. So Norwich were playing for the draw, evidently. And that's a huge issue in itself when we should be aiming to win our home games. And then we concede another horrendous goal in the 92nd minute, which will Leicester City take all 3 points. But we're not here to discuss the game. We're here to discuss Liam Manning being sacked as a head coach. Is it a positive thing? Yes, absolutely. You know, his time should have been up for me after the East Anglian derby. Liam Manning seems like a very nice bloke, but just not the right fit for Norwich City Football Club. And I think he's been wanting to get the sack for at least the past 3-4 games now. I think the club acted too slowly on it. Again, Liam Manning isn't the only issue with the club. You know, Ben Napper and the executive board, they all need to go as well. I do not trust Ben Napper to make the right decision on the next head coach. And that's a real issue. So who now takes charge of Norwich if Ben Napper stays in his position? We are in a real predicament here because I don't know if Atanasio will get rid of Napper right now. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks for Norwich. I'm pretty sure we'll hear more on that front and the head coach hunt, so to speak. But obviously there is a name on a lot of Norwich fans' lips, and that is Michael Carrick. I think Michael Carrick probably does fit the bill to be a Norwich City head coach. But then, like I say, do I trust Napper to find the right candidate? Absolutely not. You know, Webber and Adams also need to go. You know, there's still so many issues wrong with the club right now. Even with Manning gone, should just be the start of the overhaul changes at the top of the club, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, it's good to see that the club have acted upon it and that, you know, change is going ahead, and you know, Manning has been relieved of his duties with his, you know, 2 members of his coaching staff as well. So yeah, positives in that front, but again, more change needs to be made. I do think Norwich fans should carry on, voicing their opinions on the state of the club right now, and you know, it's clearly worked in terms of getting change, especially when it comes to stadium redevelopment plans. It got change on that. You know, Manning being sacked tonight, I'm pretty sure those fan protests over the last few 2 home games have definitely had an impact on that. So I do urge fans to carry on protesting until Napper, Webber, Adams and this executive board have all gone as well. Because again, we cannot carry on with them in charge of the decisions that they're making. We're a PR disaster at the minute. But yeah, I mean, ideally, look, if I was to live in an ideal world right now, I think, you know, sacking Napper, Webber, Adams, so forth, yes, do that. Then we get in Ben Kensel as CEO underneath Mark Atanasio to help with the football decisions that surround the club and everything else. And, you know, Ben Kensel had a really good relationship with the fans in his last tenure, and I'd say he's wrongfully dismissed. Obviously, he made a few errors, but, you know, a lot of good came from Ben Kensel's work at the club, and it felt like ever since he left, that connection with the fans and the club has only just regressed and got worse. And, you know, we do need someone like him at the helm, so to speak. And I think, again, bringing Kieran Scott as a sporting director, that should be done. We know what he'd done in his last tenure at Norwich City as well. He was responsible for bringing in the likes of Timu Pukki and Emiliano Buendia. You know, he's got an eye for talent. If we want someone to recruit the right players, I think Kieran Scott does scream as the ideal candidate for me. And then as head coach, I think Michael Carrick. You know, Kieran Scott and Michael Carrick have their connections from Middlesbrough. And Michael Carrick's underlying stats when he was at Middlesbrough are very impressive in terms of attacking football that Ben Napper supposedly wanted, but obviously with his managerial choice of Liam Manning, it does leave a lot left to be desired by. So, yeah, it's I mean that would be what I want in an ideal world: Michael Carrick, Kieran Scott, and Ben Kensell, all to come in, and obviously Webber, Adams, and Napper all to go. But you know, is that going to happen? I don't know. Is it going to happen overnight? Certainly not. You know, these overhaul changes are going to take at least to the end of the season to make. And you know, it's where can Norwich City find themselves come the end of the season? Obviously, I think Ben Napper will still be at the club. I just really hope he's not given responsibility to find a new head coach. But if he is, like, can we trust him to make that right decision? What if it's worse than Manning? Can this new head coach get us out get us out the relegation zone? You know, the issues that we're in on the field is very worrying as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time for Norwich. Change is needed, but you know, we need to see some positive action with the change as well. We need to make sure that we're getting out this relegation zone, aim to stay in this division. I think that's got to be the target. That's got to be the target now this season. So if we can do that, that'd be great. And then I think this rebuild, that we need to do, that Atanasio needs to start getting the ball rolling with, which admittedly he has with sacking Liam Manning, but the executive board needs to go as well. It's going to take 5 years. I think we're gonna be stuck in the Championship a little while longer. The positive thing is that Atanasio does have money, does have the finances, so if we can get the right people in at the club to utilise those finances to the best of their ability, we could definitely compete at the top end of the Championship and hopefully be able to get into the Premier League. But right now, that is not going to happen, and that is a million miles away. But the main thing that the club can do is make actions to getting closer to that target, and by sacking Liam Manning, we have definitely got the ball rolling with that. So Napper next, along with Webber and Adams, and let's start bringing in some faces that will put some positive change on the club. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.